The Key of Aaravos. What a mysterious artifact this is. For years, we have speculated about what it is and what it could be. All the way back to the very first season, 6 years ago, we found ourselves interested in what this thing was and what it would be used for. With Season 6 coming out in just a few more weeks, at the time of this recording, I think it's worthwhile to take a look at it once again and speculate wildly about what it could possibly be used for. The Key of Aaravos has captivated those of us in the community who are deeply invested in the series. We know so little about it, but the potential of the object appears to be incredibly important for something later on in the show, making it a very common topic of discussion. The Key of Aaravos is an object small enough to fit in one hand and was initially mistaken as a children's toy by 𝐀𝐧𝐝. It has 6 sides, each displaying one of the primal source symbols. The key glows when it is close to the source of magic. Typically, we have seen this happen when it is placed next to a creature that has the sort of magic within them. Even dirt can make the Earth Arcanum side of it glow. It is said that the key unlocks something of great power in 𝐊𝐳. It is very likely that this object will be the final MacGuffin that everyone will want at the end of the series. It's a common narrative device to introduce an object early on, only to use it much later on. In writing, this is commonly referred to as Chekhov's gun. The idea that if a gun is shown in Act 1, it must be fired by Act 3. So this is a very common setup and is most likely what we will see with the Key of Aaravos. The first 3 seasons of The Dragon Prince are essentially the first part of the saga, and it is in this series of events that we get introduced to the Key of Aaravos. The key is said to open something of great power, so it stands to reason that by the end of the series, we will see the key being used. The question is, what will it unlock, and how? In Seasons 5 and 6, one intriguing aspect of those seasons is that there's a noticeable lack of development regarding the Key of Aaravos. We haven't seen much of the key being used, and we've certainly learned nothing new about it.
Hey, Editing Bureau here. So I just wanted to say, I didn't have it in my script, but while I was editing this, I did kind of completely space the scene in Season 4 where 𝐀𝐽𝐿 is about to throw the key into lava. So to be fair, that is a pretty significant thing to bring up, and a good reminder of the key's existence, but I still think what I say after this is pretty accurate, and that's that we haven't really learned anything new about it.
It's faded into the background so much that I am getting a little concerned that we may never actually finally get its true purpose revealed. My main point is that we haven't seen much of the cube at all, and we've received no additional information about it in the last 2 seasons. And with Season 6 on the horizon, I think that there's a really good chance that we're going to delve deeper into Aaravos' past and finally get an explanation as to what exactly this key is, what it does, and what this thing of great power is that it unlocks in 𝐊𝐳. I'd like to start by discussing everything we know for certain about the Key of Aaravos before developing more speculative ideas. So there's been a lot of people on Reddit and on Discord who have shared some really insightful opinions about what the object could actually be used for. And I can't wait to talk about those, but first we should establish, what do we know for certain? What are the facts? In 𝐀𝐽𝐿's spellbook, there's 2 pages about the key. We get to hear from 𝐀𝐽𝐿's perspective about what he has learned about the Key of Aaravos. Interestingly enough, what he has learned is very much the same amount of verified information that we, the audience, have learned as well. That information is as follows.
The Rune Cube. Somehow I feel like me having this cube is destiny. I remember seeing it at the Banther Lodge when I was a kid and thinking it was a toy. But when Rayla drew the Primal Source runes for me, I recognized them right away. I had this feeling that we needed to go to the Banther Lodge to get it. And we did. No winter, no humans.
No winter, no humans. No winter, no humans.
Sorry. Back on topic. Later, I found out that King Harrow wanted me to have it. That's more than a coincidence, isn't it? There's something really special about this cube, but I need to know more about it. Here's what I know so far. It belonged to a powerful elven wizard named Aaravos. It's called the Key of Aaravos, and it's supposed to unlock something important. But what? When I hold it near something that contains magic, the corresponding rune glows. For example, if I hold it near bait, the sun rune glows because glow toes are connected to the sun primal source. I've been noticing something interesting that happens whenever I roll the cube on the ground. It leaves marks, pointing in the same direction every time. Once we get to 𝐊𝐷ia, the marks started to get longer, but still pointed in the same direction. Is the cube being pulled somewhere?
Of all the information that he lists here, there's actually one piece of information that we do not have in the show, and that is that when the cube is rolled, it always seems to be pulled in a specific direction. This reminds me a lot of Jack Sparrow's compass, which always points towards what he wants the most. But in this instance, it only points to one thing. So, what could that one thing be? So now we're going to get more into speculation territory. So, how can this key be used and activated? So I've heard a lot of really interesting theories on this, but honestly, I think it's pretty straightforward. We've seen that each of the runes glow whenever it's near a creature with the Arcanum inside it, so it stands to reason that it will be activated whenever it is near one of all the primal sources at the same time. A lot of people have said that it may require somebody who has mastered all 6 primal sources to activate it, and that certainly makes sense. The show does refer to Aaravos as a master of all 6 primal sources, an archmage. And if we follow Callan's character arc, his story will most likely involve him mastering the primal sources as well. So it will definitely make sense for him to be able to unlock it this way. However, we don't really know for certain if that's the only way. Perhaps it would require the uniting of a group of elves from each of the primal sources, or maybe even bait could be used as a stand-in for the Sun Arcanum perhaps. But what do you guys think? What are your theories? I would love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments below. What is this thing? What's it used for? Give me your thoughts. Thanks for watching.